we dey sing, we dey dance, we dey sing, we dey dance, we dey. Yabo yabo yabo, yabo mi so, 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 as we dey sing, you dey dance, we dey sing, you dey dance, Music department, lumba lawa lawa lawa. Music technology department, lumba. Yabo mi sa sa. Yabo mi, yabo mi, yabo mi, yabo mi, yabo mi. Sisi, I need them. Yabo mi sa sa wale. 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 Oh. Listen. Baba wa ṣe ń gbọ́. Baba fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere. Tọ́wọ́ fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere, fún wa lọ́wọ́ tàbí ṣèkẹ̀wò. Baba wa ṣe ń gbọ́. Baba fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere. Tọ́wọ́ fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere, fún wa lọ́wọ́ tàbí ṣèkẹ̀wò. Baba wa ṣe ń gbọ́. Baba fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere. Tọ́wọ́ fún wa lọ́wọ́ rere, fún wa lọ́wọ́ tàbí ṣèkẹ̀wò.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Valedictory Lectures Committee, and of course the management of the Polytechnic Ibadan, I have the singular honor of welcoming all of us to this second in the series of Valedictory Lectures that we are putting together by the Polytechnic Ibadan. We are starting soonest, but I just want to pass one or two information to us. For those who have friends who are not physically present, but who may be interested in watching this program online, who wants to join it online, they can link up with Easy Yoke Films on YouTube. Easy is EASYYOKE Films. We are writing Easy Yokes together and Films separately. On that, you can join Easy Yoke Films. Easy Yoke alone, Films alone. I hope we got it. Oh, I've just been told that I should add live events to it. Live events. Easy Yoke Films live events. They'll be able to link and be part of this program. I also want to seek your indulgence that when the procession is coming in, we all stand up and remain standing until after the national anthem, or your state anthem, and of course the Polytechnic Ibadan anthem. This is one function that it is impossible to introduce everybody. Before God, we are all important. So only very few individuals will be introduced. But in the interim, before the procession moves in, I have the pleasure of introducing the former rector of this place and my boss, Dr. Jacob Ademola Adejumobi, the first homemade rector of the Polytechnic Ibadan. And of course, we also have a former deputy rector of the institution who also had the opportunity of serving as the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties in Oyo State, Dr. Alhaji Lasisi Adedosu Balogun, otherwise known as L.A. Balogun. You are welcome, sir. The presence of the Chief Librarian of this institution, Dr. Samuel Volanomi Ajala, you are welcome. And of course, the Director of Works and Services, Engineer Stephen Folorunso Ipadiola, you are also welcome. I can spot the Registrar of Adeleke University, our own, who was here and trained some of us as Deputy Registrar of the institution, Mr. Oyoyirinde. Oyejola Oyerinde. You are welcome, sir. That is the Registrar of Adeleke University, Ede. All other individuals, staff, former deans here present, and all senior officers of the institution, all chief lecturers, retired and serving. I can spot in flowing gown. Please move to the front, sir. Move to the front, sir. Former registrar of this institution, Alhaji Honorable H.A. Adedokun. You are welcome, sir. Mo rò pé àwọn tí wọ́n mọ àtẹ́wọ́ pípa ó ti lọ sóde kò tí ẹ̀ lè jáde pàtẹ́wọ́ fún àwọn ọ̀gá wa tá a introduce. Àtàwọn tí wọ́n train náà à lè pàtẹ́wọ́ fún wọn. Àbẹ́gbìnrin ọ̀tẹ̀ ni. Wọ́n ṣe ń pàkan nìkan rú. I also have the pleasure of introducing my elder brother who was feared by many in those days when he was the secretary of NUT. And of course, in NLC, where he also served meritoriously. And we were both in the unions, I recall. When I was chairman of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Oyo State, we did a lot of, it gave government then a lot of problem. Yes, and during the June 12th, the SSS or DSS now are running after us. We are hiding everywhere. Anyway, they couldn't get us. Mr. Barrister Olu Abiala. You are welcome. You can deduce why you have him here today, because the person delivering the valedictory lecture was a strong unionist, somebody that he was also an aluta in his own right, Dr. Nathaniel Adebayo. And at a particular point, we had to cross each other's path. I never knew I would work at the Polytechnic Ibadan. He was organizing a press conference, and I came to stop it. That he had no right to organize a press conference without taking permission from me at the staff club. Less than 3 months or 4 months, I joined the Polytechnic Ibadan, and he became my boss. The world is just a stage, and we must all play our parts wherever you find yourself. Your part at a particular time will be different from the part you will play at another time. I want to call on the music technology department to resume to entertain us. In the next 5 minutes or thereabout, the procession will be here. Thank you. I guess today is 17th of May, and by 25th of May, I expect my salary. I don't want to lose my salary. I don't want to lose my salary. The representative of the bursar of the institution is here. The bursar is unavoidably absent, Mr. Adebayo Jetola, but he's being represented here by one of his formidable lieutenants. I call him Mr. Money. Mr. David Olubukola Taiwo, a chief accountant. With this now, I think I'm sure that I will get my salary this month. All other distinguished personalities, all the chief accountants present, all deputy registrars present, all heads of department present, we are all recognized. All senior officers, all invited guests, and And of course, the family of our retiring Oga, from the wife to all the other distinguished individuals here present in the hall, who have come not only to listen to the lecture, but they have come specifically because of him. You are all recognized. And of course, all our students that are here, you are all recognized, and you are welcome to this program.
Suffer for enjoy from heaven. These things they happen to anyone. I come from nothing and I'm from. But these things they happen to anyone. Yeah. I live the life that I love. I love the life that I live. Tomorrow is no promise, and I live the life that I need. Love is in the air when things pass. No matter the matter, I'll be rich till I die. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Let the assembly stand up and remain standing for the procession. Thank you. The procession is being led by the secretary of the lectures committee, followed by the head of the department of business administration, and followed by the deans, and of course the chairman of the committee, the chairman of lectures committee, chairman committee of deans, the registrar of the institution, are simply represented, the lecturer, followed by the deputy rector, followed by the rector. The rector brings up the rear with a member of the council. A distinguished member of the council, Honorable Tawhid Ayonide Abiola. We are blessed here. Who is the chairman of the council here today? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us take the national anthem. We welcome all distinguished personalities here to the second in the series of the Polytechnic Ibadan Valedictory lecture. And of course, this particular lecture is to be delivered by no less a person than, I don't want to introduce him. Somebody is going to present him. But it's from Business Administration Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to quickly, because of time factor, recognize all the distinguished personality here. I want to start with the chairman of the council, Professor Kunle Akinyemi, who is being represented by a very distinguished member of the council, who I want to say is also a product of the Polytechnic Ibadan, Honorable Abiola Arinde Tawhid. You are welcome, sir. And of course, we have the chief host, who is also the rector of the Polytechnic Ibadan, Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is also a proud product of the Polytechnic Ibadan, who has come here to give back from what he has acquired all over the world to the Polytechnic. Engineer Professor Kasim Adekunle Adebayo. The Deputy Rector is also here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Abiodun Olubumi Olubamiwa. The Registrar, Mrs. Modupe Teresa Fawale, is unavoidably absent, but is being represented by one of the high-ranking officers in the institution, one of our very, very able lieutenant, a deputy registrar, who this afternoon is the registrar of the Polytechnic Ibadan. At this occasion, Mr. Adewumi Ogunjimi. You are welcome, sir. I want to quickly go to the floor there and recognize the boss of the institution, ably represented this afternoon too by Mr. David Olubukola Taiwo, his chief accountant, and of course the chief librarian of this institution, Dr. Samuel Folanami Ajala, and the director of works and services, Engineer Stephen Folorunsho Ipadiola. We have our deans here present. I want to introduce the chairman, committee of the deans. By coincidence, this chairman is a woman, Dr. Mrs. Akinola Oladuni. She's the dean faculty FBCS, and of course we have the dean Feng here also physically present, Engineer Dr. Ladejo. The dean science, Dr. Bolanle Oseni. The dean first, Mrs. Fola Elegbede. The dean FSMH, Mr. Akim Akinyemi. You are welcome, sir. The chairman of the Valedictory Lectures Committee, Dr. Aremu, is also here. Yes, the department that is presenting the retiree to us, or the retiring officer, we have the head of department here, Mrs. Olufumilayo Akintola. Oh, I apologize deeply. I have not introduced the dean FFMS, Dr. Mojid Kolawole Lawal. Ó ti lo nǹkan tí àwọn bàbá Ìbàdàn yẹn máa ń lò nígbà àwọn ogun Kírìjì. Yes, quickly, I want to introduce a former rector of the institution, who is the first homemade rector of the institution, Dr. Jacob Ademola Adejmobi. Somebody that also served as deputy rector and later on went on to become the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties in Oyo State, Dr. Alhaji Lasisi Adedosu Balogun. I don't want to lose my job. I can see a member of the council also sitting down there. I want to call him a Tiaroba Magaji, the civil and gentlemen and educationist par excellence, Honorable Bola Akinyemi, is a member of the council. That's a Tiaroba Magaji in Ibadan land. Eba afun latewo Oba Lola. Of course, we also have a former administrative engine room of the institution who brought a lot of reforms and brought Nigeria Institute of Management to the Polytechnic Ibadan. Of course, he's a fellow of that institute. Ladies and gentlemen, Alhaji H. Adelokun, Alhaji Honorable H. Adelokun. You are welcome, sir. Yes, all the way from Ede, Osun State. One of us who was here before, he went to share all that he has done here with them at the Adeleke University Ede. Mr. Oyejola Oyenide. You are welcome, sir. I recognize all heads of departments, all former deans, all former HODs, and all distinguished, all senior officers here, all chief accountants, all deputy registrars, and of course our guests, most especially the family of the guest lecturer and the wife, and all other invited guests. Gentlemen, I want to call on Dr. Adebayo for the broadcast.
The second valedictory lecture of the Polytechnic Ibadan, titled Repositioning the Polytechnic Ibadan, Nigeria for Greater Global Relevance, harnessing the benefit of Hindsight with Foresight, will be delivered by Dr. N.A. Adebayo.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the protocols that have been so established. On the 28th day, in the month of May, the year 1958, a bundle of joy arrived in the home of Pa Lawal, Adebayo Ajadi, of the illustrious Arasa compound in Idikon here in Ibadan land. And Mamawa Adewumi, Mama Adewumi Alari ni Ayeri Ina, who hails from the widely respected Akuru compound in Agbeni, Nibadan Wani. Another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, that bundle of joy is our valedictorian today. As a little boy, he was well loved and adored by everyone around him as he displayed uncommon intelligence, wisdom, astuteness, resourcefulness, and a strong sense of duty even at that very early age. His early education began at the Aladura Mission School, Okebola, Ibadan, in 1968. And when he completed his primary education in 1972, he moved to Solomon Gbadebo College in Iperu Remo, where he graduated in 1972 and moved on to Lisabi Grammar School, Abeokuta, where he obtained his West African School certificate in 1978. Many of us do not know that once upon a time, Dr. Adebayo, Nathaniel Adeyemi, was a student at this great citadel of learning. Yes, you can clap. He had a brief stint between 1978 and 1979, undergoing the basic studies program. So, as a student, he lived, he saw, and he came back, but I'll get to that in a moment, with your kind permission. In 1979, he could not resist the allure as he succumbed to the allure from the most prestigious tertiary institution on the continent of Africa, the University of Ife, now known as Obafemi Awolowo University. He yielded himself to that pull and he was admitted to study politics, philosophy, and economics, where he graduated with honors in the year of the Lord 1983. A round of applause. You can do better. FO, clap very well. Even grudgingly, FO knows herself. Because the Obafemi Awolowo University was so special, he will return to the same institution in 1990 to obtain a Master of Business Administration. Please clap for him. Today, he is a holder of a Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in Management Science, which he obtained in 2013 at the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. Our valedictorian began his career here at the Polytechnic Ibadan as assistant lecturer in 1984. And he began his career at the then satellite campus of SLK. I can see some of my elders nodding. They are the veterans in SLK. They built the place before they came to Ibadan. And he rose through the rank of assistant lecturer till he became a chief lecturer in the year 2000. Please, a round of applause. He was promoted as chief lecturer in the year 2000. But in all of his years at the Polytechnic here in Ibadan, he held several positions of great responsibilities. He served on more than 60 committees, and he chaired more than a dozen of them. A round of applause. I mean, if you don't have integrity, how can they select you to serve on committee out of thousands of staff? Please clap for Dr. Adebayo. He also served at various times as head of department. He also served as a two-term member of the governing council representing congregation between 2001 and 2008. Please clap for him. Today we are here to celebrate excellence so that it can serve as a worthy example to those of us who are coming behind. So please, let's celebrate him. While he served on council, he was privileged to serve on various committees, among which are, but not limited to, the Finance and General Purpose Committee, the Task Force Committee on ETF and Capital Projects, Appointment and Promotions Committee, Revenue Generation and Monitoring Committee, Conditions of Service Committee, and I can go on and on. Please clap for this man. At the institutional level, he also served on several committees, but I'll just mention a few of them that he chaired. He's been chairman from inception up till this present moment, and I believe your appointment terminates tomorrow. I'm just reminding the rector. Of the institution's inaugural lecture since 2014 till present. He was chairman 5-year strategic plan, chairman 40th anniversary, and I can go on and on. Please clap for him. Dr. Adebayo was chairman management committee on degree awarding status. Someday we'll be visiting your home to collect that document. Clap for him, please. Since 2019 to present, he's been chairman strategies for business incubator development and utilization here at the Polytechnic Ibadan. Dr. Nathaniel Adebayo also served for 2 terms as deputy rector here in this institution. In this capacity, he was chairman, Institution Admission Committee, chairman, Institution Security Committee, chairman, Institution Graduation Planning Committee, and so on and so forth. Clap for him. And please wait for it. He also served on 2 separate occasions as acting rector. And in case you think all he has been doing has been administration, management, and being on the other side, he was, I think, the longest serving chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics. This chapter. And while he was serving as our chairman, those were turbulent years of military rule. Those who know what it was to be the chairman of a union, as the union of the Polytechnic Ibadan. Please, a round of applause for him. He was also National Publicity Secretary between 1995 and 1996 of the national body of the union. Please, let's appreciate him. You know, I've told you how he has served in managerial positions. I've told you how he has served in welfare. But he has also served at the Polytechnic system in Nigeria, outside this institution. He has made worthy contributions. He has served as a member of the accreditation team to several polytechnics across all the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. All. He's also served as external examiner. He has participated in curriculum drafting and critique workshop of the National Board for Technical Education. I can go on and on, but I'll save your time. Let's go to his academic pedigree. He has published over 30 academic articles in reputable journals. He has published 5 standard textbooks. He has published 7 technical papers. He has published 1, 2, 3, 25, 76, 80 workshop papers and conferences. A round of applause for him. And I know some of you will be saying, you can index, ask Mr. Google. If you go to the academia.edu and search for his works, you will see a long index of his works there. So Google is my witness. And in recognition of his human contribution, he has received several recognitions, several awards. I'll just name some of them, just a few of them. The first one I will talk about is the leading educator of the world in teaching of business administration and management, which was awarded by the International Biographical Society, Cambridge, in 2006. Maybe I should plead that we delay the clap till I get to the point that I will raise my hand, and once I do this, then let the applause rise. Recognition of contribution of expertise as associate editor of Recolota, and that's from the University of San Jose in Philippines. Number 1 on social media at the Canadian Council for Small Business and Entrepreneurship in 2020. Commendation as principal research collaborator, consultant, and I can go on and on. But save it. On this list here, I have 17 recognitions, 16 of which were from international bodies. So I've saved your time. Please clap for him. You're Daphne. Dr. Adebayo is a consultant with the World Bank. He's a consultant with the Federal Ministry of Employment, Labor and Productivity. He's also served as a consultant to the American Council for Training and Development. He's a consultant in Canada. He's received awards from Africa Climate Change Awareness. He's an African Climate Change Goodwill Ambassador. Clap for him, please. He's a member of the Nigerian Economic Society, member, Chartered Institute of Local Government and Public Administration, chartered member, Nigerian Institute of Management. I've been told to move fast. How do you move fast with over 35-page CV? I'll do my best. In another 3 hours, we'll be done. Well, let me just summarize it. He has been recognized by professional bodies in Canada, Australia, in New York, in about 6 states in America. Yes, 6 states. In London, Manchester, Glasgow. I think I got it right. He's been recognized in all of these places. On the continent of Africa, in Senegal, in Nairobi, Kenya, in South Africa, he's been recognized in all of these places. As a member of a community, his contribution is noble, is worthy, and of great significance. He's a highly well sought after public affairs commentator in various media outlets. As a matter of fact, he's an official in-house analyst for 9 media houses as we speak. He has attended conferences in different parts of the world. In Philadelphia, USA, Orlando, Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, Chicago, San Antonio, Texas. Yes, go on and clap. Liverpool, Manchester, Sheffield, London, Cardiff. I've been asked to wrap up, but for that we'll still be here till 9 p.m., especially because of my elders, and I don't want to get a query from the chairman of council. Our valedictorian for today, Dr. Nathaniel Adebayo, is currently Vice Chairman, Board of Governors, the Gospel Faith Mission International Comprehensive High School, and is a pastor in charge of Olugbade Assembly of the Church. Although this one is not part of the CV, but because of my government daddies and mummies, he's also a very prominent member of the institution's chapel, which is called the Lord's Chapel. Dr. Nathaniel Adebayo is married to Mrs. Omolara Modupe Adebayo. Please stand up so that we can duly appreciate you. And the marriage is blessed with children and tons of grandchildren and great-grandchildren who are knocking on the door as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise up with me as I welcome to the lectern our valedictorian for today, a leader of leaders, a mentor of mentors, a worthy role model, an excellent man in every ramification of the world, Dr. Nathaniel Adeyemi Adebayo. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause.
Thank you. Quickly, before we commence the lecture, I want to introduce a former rector of this Polytechnic, the Polytechnic Ibadan, who later became the Vice Chancellor of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogumosho, Professor M.N. Nassar. You are welcome, sir. And of course, Chiso Yebisi, a former librarian from SROK, where the guest lecturer also served. You can watch this program on YouTube, Easy Yoke Films Live Events. You can hook up. Easy Yoke Films Live Events. Pastor Nathaniel Adeyemi Adebayo. Dr. Pastor Nathaniel Adeyemi Adebayo.
Okay. The chairman of the Governing Council of the Polytechnic Ibadan ably represented, members of the Governing Council of the Polytechnic Ibadan, the Rector, Deputy Rector, Registrar, and other principal officers of the Polytechnic Ibadan, the Dean, Faculty of Business and Communication Studies, and other deans of faculties here, Dean, Student Affairs, and head of units here at the Polytechnic Ibadan, members of the fourth estate of the realm, the press, which again is also my constituency, head of Department of Business Administration and Management Studies, and other heads of management and other heads of departments that are here. Greatest managers, greatest polites, greatest Nigerian students, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I give all the glory to God for the opportunity to stand before this distinguished audience to present the second valedictory lecture of this great institution. About 7 years ago, specifically June 16, 2016, here in this hall, and at about this time, I delivered the 9th inaugural lecture of the Polytechnic Ibadan. 7 years after that, I'm having a second opportunity to also address an audience similar to the previous one. Today, therefore, is an epoch-making event. For the first time in the history of the Polytechnic Ibadan, you're having an individual who presented an inaugural lecture and is again presenting a valedictory lecture. I want to stand on my citation given a little while ago so that I do not bother you with what you are seeing on the screen. What you are seeing depicts my journey of 38 and a half years as a lecturer in this particular place. Given that background, I think I'm reasonably positioned to have chosen the topic for the second valedictory lecture, Repositioning the Polytechnic Ibadan, Nigeria for greater global relevance, benefits of hindsight with foresight. The implication is clear. 38 and a half years has given me opportunity to gather experience. Therefore, within the short moment we are spending here, I am condensing an experience of 38 and a half years into less than 1 hour. It's Herculean, but I know by the grace of God, I will be able to do that within the time frame. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, because of time factor, you may have to follow me with a slide which you have here. Let me leverage on Brenham 2015, who actually discussed what higher educational institutions are meant for. To him, any tertiary institution that will be relevant must be able to engage in problem shooting and solution provision. It is only when a tertiary institution is able to do this that you can say that tertiary institution is relevant. Now, when we talk about global relevance, we're talking about global problems. Any tertiary institution that is able to solve global problems then will be deemed to be globally relevant. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that global problems are so many, but Sheldorf has condensed everything into 10. I will return to that very shortly, and I have to take a jump because, again, of time factor. But listen to me very well. Nigeria's higher educational landscape is very big. Anybody who goes into any institution that is post-secondary is already in a higher educational institution. In Nigeria, there are many, but in the course of this lecture, what I am doing is to place emphasis on polytechnics and later on Polytechnic Ibadan. Occasionally, I will be referring to colleges of education. Ladies and gentlemen, polytechnics are expectedly to train people who can use their hands, their heads, able to go out and create also jobs while employing other people. This is one area where polytechnics are expected to be completely different from universities. Today, there are two major opinions about polytechnics in Nigeria. The first one is the one that I refer to as the pessimist opinion. And right in this particular lecture, I have picked a statement made by one Ezenwa and his colleagues to the effect that nobody wants to send his or her child to any polytechnic, and that polytechnic is often reached out to when admission to universities don't materialize. That is the pessimist opinion. But the second opinion has emerged, which is spearheaded by one Opai. And that is what I refer to as the optimist opinion. Now there is an advocacy in Nigeria. And what is this advocacy? The advocacy is called PEFA. PEFA means Polytechnic Education for All. In essence, they have the opinion that if anything must be done, a person will need to have polytechnic education in order to have the problem of Nigeria solved. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I need to point out that in the polytechnic system, hands are used to both write and also to work. Therefore, if you are talking about global problems, polytechnics, the perfect people, the optimists are of the opinion that it is the polytechnics that you must reach out to. I want to tell you that contrary to that, in Nigeria today, polytechnics are discriminated against, polytechnics are heavily marginalized, polytechnics are shortchanged, polytechnics are at the short end, taking the short end of the stick. And as a result, several people decide not to come to the polytechnic system. Where does this discrimination come from? Number one, legislation. Where laws are made, creating the impression that polytechnics are for middle-level manpower. As a result of that, products and staff of polytechnics are usually relegated to the background. That is external. But what actually is a big slap on our sensibility in the polytechnic is that within the polytechnic system, graduates of polytechnics are also discriminated against. How can somebody with HND be employed to teach in the same environment that has produced him or her and be brought in as an instructor, relegated behind the product of another system, the universities, and then somebody with first degree will be employed as lecturer and will be taken as superior to HND holders in the same institution system producing that same HND holders. It is nauseating. It is disheartening. It makes somebody unhappy that that happens right in this country. Where does the Polytechnic Ibadan stand in this? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Polytechnic Ibadan was established. The law on the Polytechnic Ibadan was enacted in 1990. And the Polytechnic became operational in March 1971. From the knowledge of Hindsight, I was a student here between 1978 and 1979. This Polytechnic was divided in terms of program into two. Those of us for A levels and those who came from professional studies. We need to know here today that when the Polytechnic Ibadan was established, the whole of Western Nigeria actually saw it as the host of the whole region. Students of engineering faculty here were already manufacturing gadgets. They were into installation of complex machines. We were not asking anybody to come from outside to maintain machines and to repair cars and to service our cars. That was the time when the likes of Comrade Rauf Aregbesola, Comrade Abimbola Daniel, I hope that is also here, or they are watching us online. They made the Polytechnic Ibadan proud. And everybody will want to send his or her child to a polytechnic. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Polytechnic Ibadan was so attractive that several people outside Nigeria were brought into this institution from the diaspora to become staff. But I need to tell you, in spite of the discrimination. In 2005, there was a United Nations agency's competition to design poster for the Millennium Development Goals. And all over the world, people put in. Our students in the Polytechnic Ibadan put in. I want to tell you on a very happy note that the person who took the first position in that particular competition came from the Polytechnic Ibadan. I show you in evidence of this. This is a copy of the letter that was written to that particular student. Now that we are talking about making the Polytechnic Ibadan relevant, the full paper has shown my findings in global institutional ranking where the Polytechnic Ibadan is. The full paper has evaluated the Polytechnic Ibadan academic individuals' productivity. And I have in this particular study tables showing that. But ladies and gentlemen, I need to say that if it has to do with being globally relevant, a globally relevant institution is one that is able to solve global problems. 10 global problems have been identified. And I want to quickly go on and talk to this audience, talk to the council, talk to the government of your state, talk to the chairman and leadership of Academic Staff Union on what we can do about the 10 global problems, and then still be able to come out to show the whole world that Polytechnic Ibadan can rank as #1 tertiary institution, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere all over the world. Let me quickly say this. You cannot solve all the 10 global problems in one fell swoop. So I want to talk to you on the pathway for Polytechnic Ibadan to become globally relevant. My first suggestion here, Mr. Rector, sir, and our employers in council, do for the Polytechnic a scale of preference about the 10 global problems. Which one are really pressing right now? Address this. Number 2, global relevance is stepwise. Step number 1 is for the Polytechnic Ibadan to make itself community relevant. After that, make yourself or your state relevant. After that, scale up to country relevance. And after that, you go up for global relevance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will only be able to address you first on the community relevance of the Polytechnic Ibadan. And I pick some of the global problems. One is energy crisis. Mr. Rector, sir, I want to say before this audience that if we want to show ourselves as an institution to be reckoned with, we should solve energy problem in this institution. Not looking at NEPA or IBDC, but looking inwards to do that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I say it on authority and by virtue of scholarship of what I have seen in the past 38.5 years in the Polytechnic Ibadan. Polytechnic Ibadan can generate electricity that it needs. after this valedictory lecture, let everything be put in place to put the Faculty of Engineering on its toes. Let it not be heard anywhere on this campus anymore that because they cut us from the national grid, we can no more be productive. Solar energy is common all over Nigeria today, done by people who are semi-illiterate. And we have a department of electrical engineering with experts that are there. Charge them to come up with a plan of solar energy that will be good enough for this institution. Today is a moment of benefiting from the knowledge of hindsight. As a member of the Governing Council, I remember the Faculty of Engineering told us at a time that within the Polytechnic Ibadan, some small collection of waters can be used for hydroelectricity. I heard a voice there. That voice, if I'm not mistaken, is the voice of a former president of the Student Union of the Polytechnic Ibadan. I think about 29 years ago. Saddam, are you the person who spoke just now? Yes. We have enough. The Faculty of Engineering also told us at that time, from the strength of the wind in the Polytechnic, they can generate electricity for this institution. So let's combine solar with water, with wind. The Polytechnic Ibadan, we have more than sufficient electricity supply to this institution. When we have done that, we will be community relevant. Other people will come to borrow from us. We will make solar for them and sell. And the Polytechnic will generate more money. But let me just share yet another one. And then I go on to present my recommendation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Polytechnic Ibadan has a lot of in-house experts. One of my research collaborators in the US came to visit me and said, Dr. Adebayo, I'm not going to allow you to take me away from this institution to entertain me. I want to get into your office. He got down. And he had to be stepping into potholes and asked the question. In the US, a polytechnic will not be like that. Because students and staff will have filled the potholes as part of their practicals. Today, Mr. Rector, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I can say it with boldness that the Polytechnic Ibadan has in-house experts who are consulting for the private sector, and they are making a lot of money. Who can fix our roads? Who can rehabilitate our roads? Who can reconstruct new roads? If you don't know, the Polytechnic consulted for the former Oyo State, and we erected bridges at Songo and another one at Bodija, done by staff and students of the Polytechnic Ibadan. We need to go back to the olden days. I want to show you, because of the failure of the system. I'm not talking about the Polytechnic system. I'm talking about the laptop I was using. I have a lot to show you. If you move away from this assembly hall, go through to the Rector's Lodge. I'll show you from here. We can see this is a network of roads. We can see this is a network of road. This network of road starts from this assembly hall to the rector's lodge. When we finish, you go drive on that road. That road is very solid. It was not constructed by any outsider. It was constructed by students and staff of the Polytechnic Ibadan. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, again too, I wanted to show you this. These are two buildings comparable to anyone contractors had given us. In fact, better than what they had given us. Look at these two buildings. They were constructed, erected by staff and students of the Polytechnic Ibadan. I want to seize this opportunity to thank a former director of CEC, Dr. Tamplana Ogunshasan, and a former Dean of Environmental Studies, Mr. Remi Olalere, for insisting that the IGR of the Polytechnic Ibadan from CEC will not be allowed to be used by external contractors who could come to do for us shoddy jobs, and who insisted relevant departments must bring in people to do this. Those buildings are strong. The road is still very strong after almost about 4 years. Mr. Rector, sir, I have said this so that we can begin to think in terms of how can we make the Polytechnic Ibadan community relevant. If we don't do that, we can't be globally relevant. I want to also say, when you have done that for the community, scale up to your state. Governor Seyi Makinde has an economic blueprint for the next 4 years. It is titled Oyo State Roadmap to Sustainable Development. I have gone through it. I have studied it. All that the governor will need to do about 70% of the projects, the Polytechnic Ibadan has it. Move to the governor. Tell the governor what the Polytechnic can do. Let the Polytechnic do it. Then we will endear to the heart of the governor the Polytechnic Ibadan. When you get to him, he listens to you. When you want to request anything, he will give you. Study that economic blueprint, and it will be well with the Polytechnic Ibadan. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I just want to announce, Mr. Rector, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am exiting the Polytechnic Ibadan in the next 2 days, 3 days. So today is not my last day. I still have 3 more days officially to spend. And I will spend it. Optimize it. Maximize it. When I exit the Polytechnic Ibadan, I am not exiting the global knowledge industry. I will still be there in the global knowledge industry. I am not exiting the global research community. I am already part of that community. I will still be there. But Mr. Rector, sir, I assure you today, wherever I go, wherever I will be, I'll not forget TPI. I will continue to reckon with the Polytechnic Ibadan. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'll take you to my recommendation, and thereafter we will be able to do 1 or 2 things, and then we'll wrap up today. Yes, I can enlarge this for all of us to see. If you see what I'm holding, this is symbolic of the Polytechnic Ibadan. Here is a man who wanted to hang just a signpost. What he needs to use will be ladder. He has many ladders, and he couldn't use the ladders. The ladders were under his feet, and he was struggling. That is symbolic of the Polytechnic Ibadan. We have a lot of resources under our feet. Now is the time for us to rake up those resources and become relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, my first recommendation, Mr. Rector, council members, let the Polytechnic Ibadan become an enabling environment where there shall be rest of mind, safety of property, and in doing so, people will be able to think very well. I'm happy Dr. Adebayo, who was my first rector as deputy rector, is here. The Polytechnic Ibadan was rotting. In line with his policy, including that of my predecessor, we did an institutional rebirth. Courtism became a thing of the past. We must not allow it to again thrive in this place. I also quickly want to say, by the knowledge of hindsight, that the Polytechnic Ibadan should begin to put people in position by merit, not by any other consideration. The global ranking domain does not know mediocrity. And if we keep on doing that, we will just see that we may never be able to rank properly with others. Give staff the morale that they need. And Mr. Rector, 36 years ago, the law establishing the Polytechnic empowered it to award first degree. 36 years after, we are not able to award first degree. I want to recommend to you, Mr. Rector, before your tenure, take the bold, epochal step to invite NUC. The Polytechnic Ibadan now has so many PhD holders. Invite NUC to come. Put a program for accreditation of first degree. And let me say, when I was doing this paper, I studied at some universities in Nigeria have NUC as their regulatory body. They also have MBTE, meaning they are both doing HND and also awarding first degree. The Polytechnic Ibadan can begin to do this. Now, please create for the Polytechnic a center for creativity and innovation. And let me also quickly say, ladies and gentlemen, Oyo State, when I was doing this study, Oyo State has 39 FM radio stations. No, 39 in Ibadan. 4 of them are not yet operating. But 43 in all in Oyo State. The Polytechnic Ibadan is a frontliner when it comes to training mass communicators. And I'm not talking about within Polytechnics alone, all over. Is it good? Are we community relevant? That we don't have our own FM radio station? Whatever it will take, TPI, I don't know what name you're going to give to it. TPI FM radio station. Rector Governing Council, do something about it. I am a radio analyst, television station analyst. I go to other radio stations. Sometimes there are many invitations. I can't actually accept all of them. I want to come back to the Polytechnic one day in the FM radio station of the Polytechnic as an invited analyst and sit down and do for the Polytechnic what I've been doing for other radio stations. I look forward to doing that very quickly. Two other recommendations before I actually bring this to an end. Mr. Rector, sir, President Muhammadu Buhari will be leaving office in about 12 days' time. The outgoing Ninth National Assembly has passed a bill to remove dichotomy between HND holders and first degree holders. Almost 1.5 years after they have passed the bill to the president has refused to sign the bill into law. I use this opportunity to call on the National Assembly to veto Mr. President by passing that bill into law with 2/3 majority. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see this. What you are seeing is an eagle. On the wing of that eagle is the name Ibadan. The Polytechnic is an eagle. This eagle wants to fly. But there's a chain tying it down. And somebody is kneeling down to pray that the chain be, the eagle be unchained. We have prayed enough. We will still keep on praying. As a pastor, I know the power of prayers. The initiator of interfaith prayer is Dr. J. Adejumobi. I'm happy he's here. We need to combine action with our prayers. From the recommendation I've made today, the chain tying down the Polytechnic Ibadan from flying can actually be broken. And the Polytechnic Ibadan as an eagle will be able to fly. Before I go on to take my seat, briefly my contribution is has a long list. I can't say them all. To save time, I'm giving you an abridged, a synthesis of my contributions in the last 38.5 years. In 1994, my article, Illusion of Privatization, the Case of Nigeria, was published. That article predicted that privatization and commercialization in Nigeria will fail. Today, it has failed. That particular prediction has been validated. In 2007, I presented my paper, Welfare Consequences of Tax Policies in Nigeria, at the World Social Economic Forum. That particular paper is capable of increasing the IGR of subnational governments in Nigeria. In November 2013, my paper assessing the market for multinational companies in Nigeria at the bottom of the pyramid, hints from consumer behavior, was published and on the Social Sciences Research Network. Within 2 weeks, it made the list of 10 most downloaded papers. 402 abstract view and 63 downloads. Do you notice that it appears it's difficult for Nigeria to take away beggars from our streets? My paper, which was presented in Australia in 2020, Beggars as Entrepreneurs, Leveraging on Financial Empowerment and Social Exclusion Nexus in southwestern Nigeria, has predicted pragmatic policies that can take beggars away from our street. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was principal consultant to the Federal Ministry of Employment, Labor and Productivity, Ogun State, on National Economic Empowerment and Development Strategy. That paper that we submitted was put into competition by all the ministries in Nigeria. The paper where I was the principal consultant received the first position in that particular contest. I'm happy one of the directors there is here in this particular valedictory lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Many people don't know that management field can solve the Boko Haram problem. Management as a field. Listen to me very well. Last month, I presented at Australian National Universities a paper interrogating the nexus of Western education and religion for poverty reduction and entrepreneurship. That paper has shown that the Boko Haram insurgency, which we have not been able to undo militarily, can be undone by recommendations in this particular paper. Let me just say this. Do you wonder why graduate unemployment still persists and graduate poverty still persists in Nigeria? If you want to know why, next month, June, by the grace of God, I'm presenting another paper. This paper has come with award from Monash University in Melbourne, supported by Australian Sociological Association, for me to present that paper. And listen to me very well. Why our graduates are still in unemployment has been revealed in that paper. This is the last section. I quickly want to appreciate those people who actually, yes, God has used me by His grace to bring up some of our people in capacity development, global visibility for the Polytechnic. I was elected as the Regional Executive Director of Africa Academy of Management. And I'm remaining in that post for the next 2 years. My name on that website carries the affiliation of the Polytechnic Ibadan. So those who don't know the Polytechnic, we now be able to know the Polytechnic. All my 38 years, I was chairman of the Academic Staff Union, 7 years, 8 months. We didn't lose any struggle at all. It was the hardest period. When the military was here, I was chairman. When we were transiting into democracy, I was chairman. And we didn't lose any struggle. That's to the grace, to the glory of God. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my acknowledgement. I couldn't have come this far without God. So today I acknowledge God, who started with me and is also ending with me. My late parents are appreciated. They taught us lessons in honesty and hard work. Though both of them have gone, I profoundly appreciate them in a gathering like this. Maybe you should know this. I endowed a prize in the Polytechnic Ibadan in the name of my late father. It is called the Adebayo Lawal Ajadi Prize for the best student in entrepreneurship development program in the Department of Business Administration and Management Studies. Before coming here, I checked the record. I remain the only person in service who has looked back while still in service to endow a prize. I make the pledge today when I exit. That particular prize will still continue. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at SRK, where I started, I met my first HOD, who later found out he was my brother because he had made friends with my uncles in the compound at Bolewa. And that person is no other one than Dr. Lasisi Adedoshu Balogun. Baba, can you stand up and let people see you, sir? God bless you, sir. Along with his wife, Elijah, Sherifat, Shade, Balogun. They became my foster parents. The campus librarian, Mr. Yebisi, loved me so much, and I think he's also here. I want to thank you, Mr. Yebisi, for coming to this place. The person who scouted me when I didn't have any house, another illustrious son of Ibadan, Mr. Kunle Okpashino. Thank you also for gracing this particular occasion. My office mate was Professor Remi Okeyinka. He's online now watching us. You gave me the head start. God bless all of you. My family, Agbole Aransan Inidi Kan Ibadan. And my mother's side, Akuru's compound. Somebody said they said Akuru, and they didn't mention Shango. That's the place where they worship Shango. And I acknowledge the dynasty of Ali from which I have come out. The other days of Okeseni, I appreciate you for taking us up when we had nobody to help us. Professor Remia Labi, I must acknowledge him. He appointed me as HOD for the first time. But he did what no other rector has done. He gave me headship when I was the chairman of the union, forcing me to combine the role of a unionist with the role of a management person. I learned a lot, and that actually was good enough for me. I served under 3 rectors. First, Dr. J.A. Adejumobi. Dr. Adejumobi is here. Thank you very much, sir. Professor M.L. Nazar. Prof, please stand up. Let them see you too, sir. This man was just not my rector. He was my PhD supervisor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Alhaji Hamid Adebayo Adedokun, Mr. G.O.D. Olojede. Yes, thank you very much also for coming. In the office of the Deputy Rector, G.M. Odejobi, Benga Olaoye, T.R. Ogumola, Let Afolabi Jokan-Ola, Damola Afolabi. And there is another route in that particular office, along with Bossede Badmos. Thank you for tolerating my workaholism at that particular time. At ASUP level, so many people came along with me. Kayode Talabi, Faleye E.O., S.B. Babanide, S.A. Olalere, F.A. Adeniran, T.A. Lawal, K.O. Oladeji, Kelani Ajadi, B.A. Dosumu, Engineer Akindele, Baba Nasu, Yusuf Ajayi. He retired but is here today. Where are you? Yes, I can see your hand. Solidarity forever. Hallelujah. You can see the pastor and the scholar coming together. I have no apology for that. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Another veteran, me, Comrade Opashino. And then this person representing the registrar today. Mr. Oh no, you were comrade J.A. Adewumi, you remain comrade. My benefactor, one of the illustrious sons of Nigeria, Chief Ganiyu Oyeyishola Fawehimi. He was our lawyer throughout my tenure. He took all our legal cases without taking any money. Though he has gone, I today remember him. His lieutenant, who was my teacher on how to demystify the SSS, Comrade Barrister Femi Aborishade. I know he has joined us online and is watching this. Comrade, I thank you very well. Government family. My father in the Lord, Pastor Dr. E.O. Abina, he prayed a lot for me. He prophesied about my future. He hooked up with progress tracking. Daddy Abina, may the Lord continue to lengthen your life. The international leadership of government is represented here. Pastor Dr. Tosho Okomoleyin and Pastor Dr. Tunde Ojo. Wherever you are, you can stand up. Thank you very much. Region 17 and all the members of that region. Pastor Christopher Abiodun Bemiro, I thank you for coming. The district pastor Alakia, thank you very much. Olugbadi Assembly, are you here? Can you rise up? See my church. See my intercessors. God bless you all. Siblings from my wife's side, I want to appreciate you for allowing your daughter to be my wife. Baba and Mama, they have gone. Ibidun Ojakunle, Adiola Shodunke, Olushola, Olaide, Akpeke, Oniyide, Fumilayo, Mojisola, Akinlabi, and of course, Mrs. Abosede Atilola. Thank you very much for giving my wife the home support. I have another in-law through my children. Dr. Fisayo and Mrs. Modupe Arelu, are you here? Yes, thank you so much for giving me your daughter, who has since become my own daughter too. Thank you and God bless you. I got career support from my boyhood friend, Engineer J.B. Olowe. Ebola is here. He was instrumental to becoming a consultant on a program funded by the World Bank. Bola, thank you so much. Adebayo Ogumuko got me that appointment to become principal consultant to the Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity. Eda Ogumuko, if you're here, you just stand up. I thank you and your wife. I also want to thank Dr. A.A. Oguntegbe. He's been my research collaborator almost at all times. The academic input of this paper, for which you are clapping, has received support of WASMIT. WASMIT are those people who actually will look at WAS and they coin them and form another one. Language expert. 2 of them. My former dean, Mr. Fẹ́mi. Di ìpàdé ọlá. Thank you so much. The other person is the one my rector would refer to as the grammarian because he speaks a lot of grammar. Dr. Muiwa Ojo, where are you? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we closely coming to the end of this particular presentation. But let me tell you, on front, my head of department, Mrs. O.O. Akintola. Dr. S.M. Abodunde. She has played triple roles as a colleague in the department. And I'm happy. Some people will say the Department of Business Admin doesn't give anybody distinction. She graduated with distinction in that department. Dr. Atinuke B. Aremu and Mr. A.A. Oladeji, Mr. G.D. Ogunrami, Mrs. Segun Jobi, hey, Mr. Bolaji, Mr. Okpatola, Mr. G.D. Ajayi, Mr. Owosanye, and Mr. Lanre Akinola, thank you very much for being my colleagues in the department. My schools are represented. The global president of Lishabi Grammar Global, Lishabi Grammar School Student Association, a fellow of ICANN, Alhaji Taufik Lawal. Can you rise up? He was the first person to be here by 12 noon today. Thank you for giving the support. Other members of his association are also here. Inaugural lecture and valedictory committee. Hey, I will miss you. I told them if they must reach me on anything about inaugural or valedictory, they will reach me as their consultant. And as a retiree, I will charge them. Rector will sign my bill. Past and present, I want to appreciate Architect Festus Fawonre. I know he's also here. If you are here, you can rise up and people just see you. The Deputy Rector, Mrs. Olubunmi Abiodun Olubamiwa, remains a member till this moment. Thank you for always being there. Dr. O.S. Aremu, Mrs. Rita Ajibola, Engineer Biliaminu Tijani, Dr. Tamplana J. Adebisi, Engineer Oki, Mr. Adeniyi, my secretaries, Mrs. Labiyi, Mrs. Susanna Biola, Mrs. Adeyemo, and now Mrs. Atonda. Thank you for all the good work that we were able to do. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize the incumbent rector. I called him this morning to thank him for the support. This man is an innovator. For the first time in the history of polytechnic education in Nigeria, the Polytechnic Ibadan will be the first now to endow academic chair, courtesy of the council and this rector. This rector has been a big encourager, a great motivator, a fantastic team player. Is no other person than Professor Engineer K.A. Adebayo. Thank you for all you did for me. The Lord will continue to honor you. Thank you so much. My chief host. Hey. This woman, my chief host, he is the first female dean of FBCCS. I'm not saying FCCS. FBCCS. Please, can you rise up? I'm reading your citation. The first female chair of the Committee of Deans, a human resource management expert, notable for that, Dr. Mrs. Oladuni Ajoke Akinola. You have done so well as a chief host. Heaven will continue to bless you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, faculty officer, where is Mrs. Florence Abegunde? Oh, she has played a fantastic role in making this particular valedictory lecture a big success. Mrs. Abegunde, God will continue to replenish your pause. My former students, many of them are online. They sent me a message. Some of them 38 years ago. Oh God, we want to hear your voice. Many of them are online watching us. Some of them are in this place. If you pass through me and you are here, can you rise up? You pass through me. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. For the past 2 months, these people have been meeting on me and on my welfare. They have done very well. The young shall grow. You will grow. You will be big. You will be exceedingly big. I'll be exceedingly blessed. My current students. Hey! They told me they are missing me, I'm missing them. Siddiq and Shamu Alajo, God bless you. My children, Iyanoluwa Gideon, Oreoluwa Emmanuel, and Bisola Ifeoluwa, they be my consultant, my advisor, my supporter. I want to thank you, big way. God bless you. I have other children. Sandra Tijani, hey, he did a lot of work doing what I'm reading now. God bless you, Sandra. Sophia Tijani, Kevin Tijani, and my graphic engineer. Maybe one of the problems we had was that graphics were many on the paper, and the laptop was afraid of all those things. Hey, I want to thank you, Joseph Oluwaseun Taiwo. God bless you. Now comes to somebody special. My heart throb. You will rise up again. Go forward and I'll rise up again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in English, there's something that is called nostophobia. That is the fear of going home. I don't have nostophobia. I don't fear going home because I have somebody I will always return to. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my best friend, my terrestrial angel, my prayer intercessor, my all-time encourager, Mrs. Omolara Modupe Adebayo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. The media is powerfully represented here today. Many of the radio FM stations in Ibadan, they are here to honor one of their own. I paid my dues to them. I'm paying my due to them. Today is the payback. All FM stations that are here, because you have come to honor me, God bless your establishment. I stand before you now. I look back at the perils of the past. And after looking back and seeing the perils of the past, when I was attacked physically and spiritually, I smiled at those perils because they could not overcome me. And the reason for that is because I had a guarantor who signed me on when I started in 1984. He's called Oniduromi. Can you rise up and honor the Trinity? God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Oniduromi yeshe. Oniduromi yeshe. Bó bá ṣe nìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti máa sọ̀rọ̀. Bó bá ṣe nìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti sọ̀rọ̀. Bó bá ṣe nìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti máa ṣìrègùn. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣé. Mr. Rector, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your patience and for your audience. The God of heaven will honor all of you. Thank you. I present my stewardship to my beloved rector, also an alumnus of this great institution. Thank you, Mr. Rector. God bless you, sir.
Well, I just want to crave the indulgence of the moderator to say just one or two things, because it's not part of the agenda for the program. I just want to make a comment about one of the recommendations of our lecturer today that has to do with having poly radio. I want to inform the audience that just yesterday, the National Broadcasting Commission was here to investigate the facilities we have. Yeah. And they said, their comments, let me say the way he said, the sonar inspector, he said, all your facilities are superb. What you have here, all your facilities, they are even better than what the commercial broadcasting stations have. In the next 2 weeks, you are likely to receive our letter of approval to operate our poly radio.
Can we rise up and clap for the rector? One of the recommendations today will materialize in 2 weeks' time. This is an innovator, somebody who is making waves as a rector. Thank you, rector. Thank you, rector.
Please, the assembly should remain standing. Don't go out, remain standing while we allow the procession to go in reverse order. In reverse order, with the Governing Council Chairman leading, followed by the Rector, followed by the Deputy Rector. Okay, the lecturer, the retiring officer who has distinguished himself as a lecturer, as an administrator, a unionist par excellence, and a humanist. A man of God who has served God diligently and is still serving God.
Check.
We appreciate everybody for coming. God bless all of us.
Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀ rẹ̀ bàbá gbọ́pẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀ rẹ̀ bàbá gbọ́pẹ́ mi. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí o. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí o. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run mi rí. Ẹ̀dá ní gbàgbé. Ọlọ́run kò gbàgbé ẹnìkan. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀ rẹ̀ bàbá gbọ́pẹ́ mi. Appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀ rẹ̀ bàbá gbọ́pẹ́ mi. Ó dilé ìyàwó Adébáyọ̀. Aya rere lọ́dẹ̀dẹ̀ ọkọ. Ọmọ Adébáyọ̀ yénu wọn máa pè ẹ́. Àdúró tí Adébáyọ̀ yé mo bá ròde. Ìjẹyìn Adébáyọ̀. Onídúró mi ẹ̀ ṣe o. Onídúró mi ẹ̀ ṣe o. Tó bá jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti. Ọmọ Adébáyọ̀ tó bá jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti sá lọ. Tó bá jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró ìbá ti máa sì rẹ̀gùn. Onídúró mi ẹ̀ ṣe o. Ọmọ Adébáyọ̀ yẹ́nu ó máa pè é. Òjijì Adébáyọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Aya rere lọ́dẹ̀dẹ̀ ọkọ. Adébáyọ̀ ló jó lọ́wọ́. Òjijì ọpẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Máa jó síbi tó wù ẹ́. Máa jó síbi tó wù ẹ́. Aya Adébáyọ̀ ìgbà tó yàwó lọ́wọ́ bàbá nìkan. Lélẹ́lẹ́ máa jó síbi tó wù ẹ́. Aya Adébáyọ̀ máa jó síbi tó wù ẹ́. Òjijì Adébáyọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Síbi tó wù ẹ́ yé ìgbà tó ìyàwó lọ́wọ́ bàbá nìkan. Máa jó síbi tó wù ẹ́. Ó yá nítorí Aya Adébáyọ̀ wọ́n ní kò sáyé lókè. Ó wáyé fún ẹ lókè. Ó gbogbo fọ́lẹ̀ tiẹ̀. Ìyanu lórúkọ. Wọ́n ní kò sáyé lókè. Ó wáyé fún ẹ lókè. Ó gbogbo fọ́lẹ̀ tiẹ̀. Ìyanu lórúkọ rẹ̀. Ó yá bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kójó. Ó yá bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kójó. Aya Adébáyọ̀ mo bá ròde o. Bàbí tọ́jú ó ní tèmi àràtà. Dúdú yẹmi yẹnu ó máa pè é. Aya Adébáyọ̀ ló ní kí ẹ dáadáa. Pásítọ̀ Adébáyọ̀ yẹn ló ní kí n máa kí ẹ mi tọ́jú oní tèmi. Tó bá wá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ ni o Jésù o. Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ o Bàbá. Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ ni o Jésù o. Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ o Bàbá. Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ ni o Jésù o.
Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ rẹ o Bàbá.
Adebayo ló sọ pé mo tẹ̀síwájú lọ́nà wọ́n gòkè sí lójoojúmọ́. Mo gbàdúrà bí mo ti lọ Olúwa jọ̀ọ́ èmi so. Bóyá Olúwa jọ̀wọ́ Olúwa jọ̀ọ́ èmi sókè bá mi lọ sí ibi gíga. Àpáta tó gbájú mi lọ Olúwa jọ̀ọ́ èmi so. Adebayo ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Adebayo ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o àná rẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Adebayo ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó sọ sí mi létí. Adebayo ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ o. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ o. Adebayo ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ó yan Ọlọ́run lógo. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ rẹ̀. Ẹbí Adebayo ń dúpẹ́. Wọ́n mọ rírì bàbá o. Wọ́n sọ pé ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ṣe o. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ jìnlẹ̀ jìnlẹ̀ jìnlẹ̀.